Hiya, today I'm going to be making chicken in a pot, a sort of keto version, and I'll just first run through the ingredients and then show you the assembly. So obviously if I'm doing chicken in a pot I'll need chicken, and now these are chicken thighs, which, as you can see underneath, they're sort of quite meaty. There's bones down here, so be careful when eating it because the bones are very small, and you need to just make sure you don't swallow them by mistake. The pot I'm using to cook it in is cast iron cooking pot, and I'm using this because it seems to have very good heat distribution, and it's a very weighty lid, so it's quite well sealed. Now another key to this is when I do cook it in the oven, I'm doing it on a very low temperature for a long time, and so it's 150 degrees Celsius, and I'll put in the notes below what that is in Fahrenheit. Now that's the basis of it, the chicken in the pot, hence the name, and there's bits and pieces add to sort of improve the flavour and make it more nutritious. Now I don't think anything I'm going to put in is necessarily a must-have, apart from the pitted green olives. So I don't know if you can see the label there, a bit dark in that. Now for some reason these really bring out the proper taste, and as you have this meal in France, they usually use black olives, but I've never tried that. I think they need to be pitted. I tried it with the ones with pimento inserts, but the flavour's a bit too strong, so I'm just using the plain pitted now. And of course, when you take it out of the brine that they're in at the moment, it's best to rinse them so you don't get a very salty, briny taste. Usually a bit of salt to flavour. I use a tinned tomato with I put in a little bit of mustard powder, and maybe the only thing non-keto is I put in a bit of chicken stock. Now this isn't terribly bad, although it's a lot of preservatives and stuff. So I'm reading on the back, carbohydrates per serving 1.2 gram, so a serving is a teaspoon. Now what I have done, this is a Maggi, I quite like the flavour of the Maggi, and it's pretty worldwide. The chicken stock is when you open it for the first time, it's usually covered with a lid there to keep it flavour. So I take the lid off quite carefully and actually put it under the cap, and that means that because I'm using it infrequently, what that does it keeps it airtight. So this has been open now for I suppose 2 or 3 months or so, and you can see it's still powdery and it hasn't clumped with moisture getting in, so that's quite a handy thing to know. What else we got? Oh yeah, the veggies I put in cubed daikon, or daikon, D-A-I-K-O-N. If you can find this, probably in Asian stores you'll find it. And I can't actually describe what the taste is like. Maybe a bit like parsnips, but not as strong. So you don't want anything too strong a taste. Half a pepper. So I normally put in a red pepper, but I've only got green at the moment, so that will go in. Some carrot, and again carrots quite high in carbs because of the sugars. So I just grate that in, you know, so it's not much. So it's just to add to the colour of the dish as much as anything. The leftovers I've got some dripping from some pork roast. So I'll pop that in. That's what have I got, about 2 teaspoons worth in that. So that's just to use it up and give it a bit more body, flavour wise. And then the herbs and spices. So this is just straight out of my herb garden I've got outside. So bay leaves, they're quite handy. Don't chop them up, just put those in whole. And I also got a bit of parsley, which I will chop up. A little bit of sage, again. I mean, these are dead easy to grow in the garden, and you just pop out and pick them fresh. And some oregano I'm going to put in as well, or oregano as they say over in the States. So okay, that's what I'm going to do to put in the pot. So I won't bore you with all the assembly, but I'll come back to you and I'll put it in the pot. Sorry, I won't bore you with the preparation, but I'll show you the assembly. Okay, instant pause and I'm back. Right, so I've got the chicken and I'll put those in the pot first. I've actually slightly greased inside there just to stop it sticking. Whether you put it upside down, downside up, I don't know. What you could do is, excuse me, have this on the stove top and then put this downside and perhaps get a bit of colour to it. But anyway, right, I'll put them, I don't know, downside up, upside down, whatever the phrase is. So that's like that, so that's that done. The preparation I've done is, there's the cubed daikon, or daikon, the bay leaves, you can see that, bay leaves, just some grated carrot for colour, green pepper chopped up, and the olives that I've washed and drained. So all that lot can go in. But first I might just put in the liquid. So the liquid is going to so that's it's a tomato and tomato juice. It's quite thick tomato juice, so that works well. I've got I suppose less than half a teaspoon of mustard. If you can see it there. If I rotate that round, you may be able to see it. Yep, there we go. And that's the Maggi chicken stock. Oh, and I put a bit of salt in there too. So I'll just give that a little stir to make sure it's not lumpy. Now I just remembered that excuse me, I usually put mushrooms in here as well, but I don't have any mushrooms at the moment, so it doesn't matter too much. Right, so that's that done. I'll pop in the leftover pork dripping. Excuse me. So I'll show you that. Can't get hold of it. So that's just, yeah, so that's really all nutritious stuff. And then we come to the vegetables. So I just pop the bay leaves in. Excuse me, so they'll be immersed in the juices. And then the daikon, pop those around the edges. The olives. Now, so I'm not really giving out any sort of definitive quantities, because it's just a matter of personal taste and really what you have in the fridge. So as long as you haven't got anything that's going to overwhelm the taste, it's probably, I'd just do half a green pepper, just a few bits of carrot, and go a bit mad with the carrot. put that in. And put the carrot in. So as you can see, the crock pot's filling up quite nicely. And speaking of which, I suppose you could do this in a slow cooker as well, so just a matter of what you've got available. And then the herbs and spices, there we go. So I say I've put salt into when I put the tomato mix, it's salted, but I haven't put any pepper in as yet, so I'll just give it a sprinkle of pepper. Excuse me. Ooh, there we go. Now, I've got fresh herbs, but there's no reason why you can't use out of a box or whatever it comes in. I probably should add some basil, because that works quite well, but I don't have any fresh basil at the moment. And it's looking a bit dry, so I've actually boiled some water. So I'll add some water just to make sure it's got some juice, something to cook in. So that should do it. Don't go too mad. And chuck that in. So I can do this right and pour it on the top. Yeah, that should do. So that's about half a cup of water, I suppose, and just mixed up and around a bit. Now it's all going to cook, I say, very slowly, so it'll be in steam, and it's ready when the bones just fall off the meat, basically, or the meat just fall off the bones. So that's it, and I'll come back in a couple of hours when it's cooked. Cheers. Right, we're back, and this chicken in the pot has been in the oven now for 2 hours at 150 degrees C. So let's have a look. So there it is. And just check the chicken for being cooked through. Yeah, it's really soft. Cool. Now you will notice, although I didn't put an overly large amount of liquid in, there is quite a bit of liquid in there. If you want to reduce the liquid, which I might do, I'll just put it onto put that plate on and try and drive a bit of the liquid off. But no, I think that's really good to go. Oh yeah, and there's another point about why to use a cast iron pot. I can take that straight out of the oven, put it on a ring to heat through or keep warm or whatever. So I haven't got to worry about anything being shattered or broken. Right. Bon appetit.